I know we're early in the season. I know this coaching staff deserves time, but I don't care. This is a must-win game for UCLA.
UCLA, UCLA, boy family, you know the place to be. UCLA fans, it's GAV.
Yo, what's going on, Bruin Nation? Four's up and welcome back to another video. The channel is GAV, the place to be for all things UCLA sports. I'm Gavin Carlson, a former credentialed UCLA journalist, a Bruin alum, a lifelong UCLA fan. So yes, I worked for DB, the Daily Bruin. I've got a degree and I've been a Bruin since I could breathe. But enough about me. Today on this video, we are previewing UCLA's huge Saturday evening primetime showdown at the Rose Bowl against Indiana. The Bruins coming in suddenly as a 3.5-point underdog after what has transpired early in this season. Now, this is not going to be a long, free-form podcast style video. No, this is short, succinct, to the point, with everything you need to know about a scouting report of Indiana, the keys to a UCLA victory, and yes, even my predictions for this game, both outright, against the spread, the over-under, all that good stuff. But we start first with the storylines coming into this one. Now, Indiana is coming in red hot under new head coach Curt Cignetti. He comes over from James Madison after having all sorts of success there, and he immediately gets things going for Indiana. 31-7 over FIU in the season opener, and then a record-setting 77-3 win, 77 points, the most in over 120 years for Indiana football in a 77-3 win over Western Illinois. Now, not only did he come over from James Madison, but he brought a lot of talented players over with him. He's got transfers both from there, from other mid-major schools, non-Power 4 programs, but he's got all those guys together, and he's got the Hoosiers rolling early. Now, the number one thing I want to start with is this receiving core for Indiana. Three key receivers that are going to give UCLA some problems. First, Elijah Surratt. 6'2" junior wide receiver, but as you can see, his first year of Power 4 football comes over from James Madison with Cignetti, and he is a big, physical type of receiver. He's going to catch the ball in traffic. He does have the big play ability, over 18 yards a catch, largely due, though, to an easy 71-yard touchdown against those weaker defenses, but he is a physical guy, kind of a Michael Thomas type of player. He's going to run across the middle. He's going to be on the sideline. He's going to make catches in traffic. He's going to be a challenge, and yet I think he's Indiana's third best receiver, because then we have Omar Cooper Jr., a 6-foot sophomore receiver, a deep threat as well. He does have a 69-yard catch. He is averaging over 25 yards a catch with his 7 receptions for 176 yards. He's kind of an all-around receiver, but of course he has that breakaway speed. He's going to be a challenge. Specifically, UCLA safeties have to keep an eye on him. And then the X factor coming into this game is the 6'5" senior wide receiver, Donovan McCulley. Why is he an X factor? He did not play in Indiana's huge 77-point outburst, but he is their best receiver, arguably their best player. All Big Ten honorable mentions last year, over 600 yards, more than 5 touchdowns. He's 6'5", he's big, he's strong, he's got the huge catch radius, as you can see in that picture right there. He's one of the best wide receivers in the conference. He's an X factor because he was questionable coming into this game. He played just a few snaps in the season opener. He had 1 catch for 9 yards, and then he got hurt. So he hasn't played in a while. We don't know how healthy he is, but if he is even 80-90% of his normal self, he is going to be a challenge. Now, I do think UCLA actually matches up pretty well against this receiving core, about as well as you can match up. Big cornerbacks, big safeties. Brian Addison, as tall as it gets as a safety. Devin Kirkwood, decent size on the outside as well. So they're going to try to do their best. But here's key number one for UCLA. It's limit the big play. These 3 big talented receivers all have deep play capability, and Indiana has success with the deep ball early on. Now, I'm going to reference analytics throughout this video, throughout some of my videos, but I'm not one of those guys who tries to be extra nerdy, extra advanced, and make it hard for the average viewer. I'm going to explain everything you need to know. The one thing you need to see right here, that 1.69 explosive rate on passing plays. What does that mean? They are an explosive passing offense. Now, albeit they are going against weak opponents in their first 2 games of the season, but they have shown the big playability. 69-yard pass to Omar Cooper Jr., 71-yard pass to Elijah Surratt, Donovan McCulley, the big play threat that he is. So UCLA's corners and safeties, I know I was on them for their performance against Hawaii, being far too back, giving way too much cushion, but that's because they were going against Hawaii. That run and shoot offense, they like short, quick passes. Get up in them. They're not that talented. Indiana, it's a different story. They are talented. Now, do I want us to give them 15 yards of cushion? No. I never want to see that, specifically because I think we do have a strong secondary that can hold their own. But if you give them a safety help over the top, that is the key. We need to help out our corners against these big, talented receivers. Now, who's getting them the ball? It's Curtis Rourke, a 6th-year, 6'5" quarterback. Here's the thing with him, though. His previous 5 seasons at Ohio, once again, another non-Power 4 conference, non-Power 4 team. He had decent success there, specifically in 2022, over 3,200 yards, a 25-4 touchdown to interception ratio. But I'm not that impressed, honestly. He's a good pocket passer. I'll give you that. He is slow, though. 6'5", not able to move around in the pocket very well. And that's why the second key to the game is our defense needs to have success on first down. Why is that? Well, more analytics on the screen. I'm going to quickly explain what success rate is. It's not that complicated. Success rate on first downs, getting at least 5 yards. That's a successful play. On second down, getting at least 70% of the yards needed to get a first down. That's a successful play. And then on third and fourth down, did you get the first down or did you score a touchdown? That's a successful play. For example, 1st and 10, did you get at least 5 yards? Success. Say it's 2nd and 10, did you get at least 7 yards? Success. Third or fourth down, did you get the first down? Those are successful plays. What's the key takeaway here? Look at that success rate on first downs, 74% against FIU. This is the game where they scored 31 points, not the game where they scored 77. I picked the worser performance, and yet still 74% success rate on first downs. Why is this a key for UCLA, specifically talking about Curtis Rourke? Well, because he is a pocket passer, because he isn't very athletic. He's had success this season because he's facing 2nd and 4s, 3rd and 2s all year so far. If you can force 2nd and 11s, 3rd and 8s, I don't think he is going to be good enough to beat the Bruins. He's slow, so if you get pressure on him, force him to get out of the pocket, he's not going to get away from your pass rushers. And even if he does, he hasn't shown those off-platform throws. He hasn't shown this extreme arm talent. He's kind of like a Kirk Cousins. If you give him time, if he sits in the pocket, he will pick you apart. He'll throw 8-yard passes on the outside. He'll throw 11-yard passes down the middle. He'll give you the occasional 30-yard ball down the field, accurate, but he's got to have time. And he's had it largely because the offensive line is good, but also because he's not facing 2nd and 8s and 3rd and longs, where he has to sit in the pocket for a while, wait for those receivers to get open and make a good throw. He's had open, quick receivers early and often because they're having success on first down. So if you can limit the big play, and if you can be successful on first down, specifically on those first down runs, don't let them get 5. Let them only get 2 or 3 yard carries. You're going to be in a good position. Now, defensively for Indiana, a couple impressive guys. Aiden Fisher, he's really impressive in my opinion. Also comes over from James Madison as a transfer, a Butkus Award watch list type of guy. He leads the team in tackles already with 22, 14 assisted. And they also have a really talented defensive lineman in Mikhail Kamara. This guy leads the league, not the league, he leads his team in sacks with 3, gets in the backfield, causes havoc. So I think if you're able to hold him off, we know the biggest question for UCLA's offense is their offensive line. And that's why key number 3 is win the line of scrimmage. Indiana's secondary, it's okay. They haven't gone against talented teams, though. Their front 7, though, it looks like a quality front 7 like we're going to see throughout the Big Ten. Regardless of opponent, their front 7 has been dominant so far. I've got more analytics on the screen. I'm not going to nerd you out too much. Moral of the story, they cause havoc. But as you see there, specifically the front 7, and also their offensive line gets a great push. So not only does our offensive line need to be a lot better, we know there's questions there. We know both our left and right tackles were hurt at one point in that Hawaii game. But even when the left tackle was in, even with the rest of the offensive line, it looked awful against a not that impressive front 7 for Hawaii. Indiana's front 7 is a lot better. Our offensive line needs to be a lot better. We know. I'm not worried about Ethan Gars, despite what some people think. I'm certainly not worried about our skill players at receiver and also in the backfield. It's all about our offensive line, and then defensively, it's all about, can our defensive line make things uncomfortable for Curtis Work and also for their running backs. They got a couple running backs, not extremely impressive in my opinion, solid running backs for sure, but nothing I'm scared about, and I think our front seven will be fine. I really want to see us win the line of scrimmage, specifically on first down, and I know it might sound like these are broad, obvious keys to the game, but I watch videos where they say, here's a few keys, and they give you 9, and they tell you everything that a football team needs to win a game. That's not a key to the game. I gave you 3. Limit the big plays, have success on first down, on defense, and then win the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Now, here's my big statement, the big takeaway based on what I've seen from Indiana and what everything I know about UCLA. UCLA is still the more talented team, okay? The key takeaway, a lot of Indiana's guys coming over from James Madison. We talked about the quarterback coming over from Ohio. There's a lot of transfers, and that's not a criticism. A lot of programs have to do this when they are not the premier programs in their conference. And when you have a new head coach, you're going to bring guys from your former program. You're going to bring guys from all over the place, especially in 2024. We know the transfer portal is king. But talk about UCLA's roster. Ethan Garbers has been in the Pac-12, now the Big Ten. He went into the Coliseum and dominated USC, right? We know TJ Harden can do it. We know Keegan Jones can do it. Rico Flores could have been a wide receiver at Ohio State. He was a wide receiver at Notre Dame. J. Michael Sturdivant is a NFL-level wide receiver, okay? The talent on this roster defensively, Brian Addison from Oregon. Devin Kirkwood, elite at his peak. The defensive line, Jay Toya could have been a D lineman for Texas. They wanted him in the transfer portal. I still think UCLA is the more talented roster. I think this 3.5 underdog status for UCLA is just an overreaction to what has happened in the first 2 weeks of the season. Did UCLA look poor against Hawaii? Yes. Did Indiana look great in both of their games? Absolutely. But this is a game that UCLA was favored to win all offseason, and I don't think we've seen enough yet to make them 3.5-point underdogs at home. Now for the environment. Is the environment going to be solid? I don't know. We know the students aren't on campus yet. They're about 2 weeks away. I know this. I was a student, and I was a part of the club that tried to get more students go to games. We know how hard it is at the beginning of the season. But normally, you're playing against Bowling Green. You're playing against South Alabama. We've got Indiana in our second game of the year, the Big Ten opener, the first home game of the Deshaun Foster era. There's so many reasons for there to be more fans there. I think the fan output or input, whatever you want to say, from the non-students will be larger than it normally is in these types of games. There will also be more fans from Indiana. My hot take is always a full Rose Bowl is better than an empty Rose Bowl, even if it's road fans. So I think the environment's going to be great. It's a nationally televised game. There is going to be a great environment at the Rose Bowl, and I still think it's going to favor UCLA, of course. It is a home game, okay? So between them having the more talented roster, them having a week to figure out what went wrong against Hawaii, get that offensive line healthy. Hopefully Garrett DiGiorgio can start this game. If the O-line is healthy, if they do their keys to the game, with the more talented roster and being at home, I think 3.5 is extremely disrespectful, and I've got UCLA to win outright. Call me a homer. Call me whatever you want. I'm usually pretty objective. I picked UCLA to lose a lot of games last year, and I was right most of the time when they did. But I've liked UCLA here. Both certainly plus 3.5. I think that is a lock. I think that it is extremely disrespectful. I think if they lose, it's a close game. They're at home, and they're the more talented team. I also like the over. An underrated thing in this one, UCLA is going to bring tempo. Indiana has the big playability. UCLA also has the big playability. They showed it with Rico Flores. We know Jacob Michael Sturdivant has it in him. We know a guy like Keegan Jones has it in him. So I think the big play ability is there for both teams, and I think there's going to be a sneaky amount of tempo from UCLA. They showed it a bit against Hawaii. Yes, they were down, but I think they're going to bring some tempo. Eric Bieniemy clearly wants to get the ball down the field, so give me the over. And my score prediction, UCLA 30-24 over Indiana. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm right, if you think I'm wrong. Please, this is a new YouTube channel. I need your help to help me grow. So like the video. That helps more than anything. Leave a comment, subscribe, and let me know in the comment section, do you think UCLA is going to win this game? Also, let me know what you thought of the video overall. Was the quality good? Did you like the scouting report? Did you like the pictures? Did you like the energy? Did you like the length of this video? Tell me all of that. I appreciate it so much. I'm going to be at the game. Then I'll be breaking it down all over the place on the Locked On channel, doing the Locked On UCLA postcast for my post-game thoughts. I'll have a video on this channel early next week breaking down the game as well. But I will be at the game as well, so I hope to see some of you there. Go Bruins. I've got us winning 30-24, and let's get this done. Let's show this Big Ten conference. Let's show the nation on national TV that we are not a basketball school like Indiana. We are a big-time sports program overall. Go Bruins. Take care. Let's get this one done.